Hello everyone, welcome back to WhizDum Wednesday. I'm Sir Derpy Creeper, and I'm a Twitch streamer slash YouTuber kind of styled person where I do a weekly podcast thing called WhizDum Wednesday, and I just give my opinion on certain situations and maybe some things you have to deal with in your life, and hopefully it'll make a whiz out of you making wise decisions and steam them up and make them even better. I want to start off by saying, listen, thank you for the amount of support I had for the last video, or the last segment I did, which was Wrath. Wrath was kind of hard to make. It was a very long one of the longest WhizDum Wednesdays I've done out of the now 6 that I've made. And I'd like to say thank you, seriously, a lot. After the video was broadcasted on stream for my Twitch channel, I had great conversation. I mean, there was just constant, there was so much I had to keep. I was talking so much, man. I loved it. I loved the fact that I was just able to talk, and we were able to talk about real life things, and it was just great. We talked about relationship problems, friends that people used to have before and stuff, and just you know, some people struggling with anger and grudges and stuff. And I thought, man, and I really appreciate it, and I can't express how thankful I am. So thank you guys, seriously. I had people message me saying that they really liked it, and it was just awesome to me. And I felt way more myself when I talked about Wrath, because I felt like I wasn't being true to myself as well. And I've had some people help me realize that, listen, you gotta be true to yourself, man. And I've always come off as like, you know, I was always scared to say, oh, I don't want to come off as crazy religious, and I feel like I shouldn't be saying something like I'm coming off as crazy religious, because therefore it feels like I'm ashamed of my belief and way I believe things, and I shouldn't be doing that. I need to be the real me for you guys, but also being it in a way that's not like where I'm condescending to you guys, or if I'm shoving something down your throat. I don't want to do anything like that. I want you guys to believe the way you want to believe and just have a respectful life. And I felt great to kind of like let that out some and just, you know, say that, hey, listen, this is just how I feel a little bit more. I mean, as I talked about God, you can believe in God and you don't have to believe in God. That's fine. It felt really good in my heart to just let that out, and it felt great. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys enjoying it, and I'm excited for some more in the future. So heck yeah, man. I'll recap on Wrath. Wrath was super in-depth on anger. Like, anger is not a good thing. All right, anger does not equal love, and I even touched on the subject of like what real love is. Anger is not good in any aspect of what you do. Anger is something where it's kind of like worrying, where, you know, no one really wants to be angry. No one really wants to worry. It's still bad for you, but people still do it anyway because it's a human emotion. And I talked about how you shouldn't act on your anger, and you need to wait or find a way to vent your anger out. And I will say, we had some great discussion about anger and stuff, and you know, about Wrath after the stream, and I highly recommend you check it out at twitch.tv/SirDerpyCreeper. It's a very cool thing to conversate with people, and I really appreciate it. And I would love for anyone who's on YouTube to come and experience it, or anyone who's on a different media platform. And this is going to be streamed on Twitch, so hello Twitch people. It was great. I learned some things, and I want to recap on Wrath a bit and say that, listen, a good way to solve anger problems, or to, you know, not be angry or be mood swingy, is surround yourself with loving people that really care and say, hey, listen, you don't need to be doing this, but we're gonna stick with you through thick and thin until you improve who you are. And that's a good thing. I never thought about that. Surround yourself with loving people. It'll ultimately change your heart and make you feel better in who you are, so you don't have to be as angry as you usually are or were before. And another person in the chat, his name's Rich. He's really awesome. He brought up the idea of, you know, he puts his energy into deck building, and, you know, put your energy into something else besides anger. You know, I mean, it could help you be productive. Just use that negative energy and turn it into positive energy to be productive and, you know, better yourself who you are. If you would like to see more of Wrath, please go check it out. It'll be on it's on YouTube right now currently, but if it's on other platforms, basically it's the WhizDum Wednesday Wrath. It's 43 minutes long. It's pretty long, but if you'd like to see any other WhizDum Wednesdays as well, I highly recommend them as well. There'll be a playlist in the description, or it'll be on the cards for YouTube. So, I'm going to be honest with you. Everyone here has made mistakes. And, you know, it's impossible not to make a mistake. And it's a hard thing to deal with sometimes. Also, a big mistake I make a lot is I say way too much. As you could tell earlier, I made way too much. So I'm going to try not to say way too much on this. But mistakes happen in a lot of ways, all right? Maybe you've made a wrong friend and you realize, man, I made a big mistake. I shouldn't have done this. Maybe you've finally realized that you've been living the wrong life and you're like, man, I made a big mistake. I shouldn't have been living the kind of life I've been living. Or maybe you saw something in a certain way that you didn't mean to see it in, and then you saw a better light and a better version of it, and you're like, man, I should not have even promoted this version of something. Maybe you hurt somebody's feelings and didn't mean to. I made a mistake. And maybe you're even clumsy. Listen, I'm a clumsy guy myself, all right? I bump into everything, all right? I'm just a clumsy guy. I don't like to be clumsy, but, you know, it happens. It's you are most likely going to be clumsy if you like to hit things. So I'm a person who's clumsy. I like to hit a lot of things just randomly by complete accident. And that's okay. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being clumsy. Mistakes are there to help you grow. And they happen a lot. Listen, mistakes are always going to happen, all right? You probably remember something back in the past, all right? Again, like I mentioned before, Facebook memories is great. It's great at reminding you of your past and saying, man, look at all those mistakes I made. I go back and look at some of the Facebook memories of the posts I made. My goodness, dude, I don't know what the crud I was thinking, man. I was saying some weird crud. I was super attention seeking on Facebook back in like 2015, I think, or earlier than that. My goodness, man, you look back on yourself and you're like, man, look at all those mistakes I was making. Mistakes in your past are mistakes in your past, and they need to stay there. Mistakes help you grow, though, as well. And as I said from an NF song, is a great song. I love the song. The name of the song is Remember This, I'm pretty sure. And it's mistakes make you grow. That doesn't mean you're friends. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing. Listen, mistakes are meant there to help you grow. So if you make a mistake, listen, it's completely normal, all right? Don't feel like, oh, crud, I made a mistake. Everything in the world is going to come crashing down. A lot of people think that. It's an overthinking thing in that aspect, too. So if you make a mistake, sometimes it leads to worrying. I get it, all right? Listen, you may slip up, all right? There's nothing wrong with slipping up. The problem is if you keep making the same mistake over and over again, though. Mistakes need to be taken as learning experience. Learn from your mistakes. Listen, you're gonna make mistakes, all right? You probably put the wrong element inside your chemistry set or something like that. You blew the whole place apart. I don't know. You are gonna make mistakes, and you need to really learn from them. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you'll probably most likely be more prone to keep making the same mistake over and over again. Mistakes happen in your life to help you learn and grow. If you have a learner's mindset, it'll be a lot easier for you to understand this, but some people may not realize that a lot of bad things that happen to them, or mistakes that happen to them, or the mistakes that they make that they cause, keep happening, and they're wondering why, and maybe it's because they haven't learned from their mistakes. You need to really learn from your mistakes so they don't happen again. Now they're going to happen again? Sure, sometimes you'll forget. I mean, you know, it's normal. You're a human. And a big thing a lot of people are scared about is like, you know, I'm trying to better myself. But I keep making mistakes. It's like, all right, keep going for it then. Keep trying to better yourself. Don't stop because you're making a mistake. Grab that mistake, say, listen, homie, I'm going to learn from you. And then negate this mistake. Mistakes are what help you make you grow, all right? If you linger back on the past of the mistakes that you've made, listen, I've made crazy mistakes. I walked into the girls' bathroom by a freaking accident. And it scared the crud out of me. I was like, what the crud is this? Why are there so many stalls? You know? I was like, what the crud is this? You know, and then I realized, oh crud, I'm in the girls' bathroom. And I walked out and an 8th grader went, yo, you in the girls' bathroom. I was like, you know, I was freaking the heck out. I was like, broski, I'm not supposed to be in there. Listen, you know, all these things, listen. They're mistakes in your past. They're there to make you grow, all right? Even though they're wacky ones, there's a lot of wacky ones. You just accidentally knocked something down. Somebody may have been angry, you know. And a thing I will say about this is that, listen, if you're a person who is really critical of people, you need to watch yourself, man, or woman, or whatever you go by. And you need to really not be too critical on people. I used to have a lot of critical eyes on me, I'll say. And it really made me feel like I had to say sorry for everything that I needed to say, because I felt bad, like everything I was doing was making a mistake. And to be real with you, I still struggle with sorry to this day. I keep saying sorry when I don't need to say sorry. My main message here for you, by the way, if you say sorry way too much, is stop saying sorry, man. Listen, I'm talking to myself when I say this too. Stop saying sorry. Seriously. You don't have to be sorry for everything that happens, all right? If it's not your fault, don't say sorry. If it's who you are, and that's a big thing I struggled with too, is I keep saying sorry for myself. Like me being quirky. Sometimes I talk under my voice as another voice. Like, well, it's not another voice, it's just me, but I whisper some words after I say them. And sometimes I've said sorry for it, but this is just me being quirky. I'm a quirky guy. I'm kind of weird. So, I mean, you don't need to be sorry for yourself, all right? You are you, and you shouldn't be sorry for any of that. If you keep saying sorry for something, I've learned this, and I actually heard my one of my friends at church say this, and he said, your words are powerful. It's just like the concept of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, and words can, especially depending on what you speak on your life. If you're constantly saying, oh, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that, I didn't mean to. If you're constantly haywired on saying, hey, I'm sorry for this, I didn't mean to do this, or if you're constantly saying, listen, I'm sorry for bumping into you or something, it was a complete accident. You can't say sorry too much, all right? Like, listen, if you're being weird or quirky, don't be sorry for it. Sometimes I've had the aspect of I make a little weird joke or something, like then I go sorry right after it. And then my friends go after me and they say, stop saying sorry. Stop saying sorry, seriously. You don't have to say sorry so much. The right times to say sorry are this. When you do something wrong, truly now, if you're being yourself, don't be sorry for it. If yourself is bad, change that though. Don't get me wrong, that's where a mistake thing comes in right there. Saying sorry so much can really actually drag you down. That's why I've been working on myself. I've been working on not saying sorry so much. And well, in the aspect of apologizing for myself. All right, I can say sorry. I just can't say it in a certain context that makes me degrade myself. And you can't do that, because you'll be degrading yourself the more you say sorry over things you don't need to be sorry for. The main things you need to apologize for are mistakes, accidents sometimes. And sometimes you don't even have to apologize for making a mistake. People are understanding sometimes, and they're like, hey, listen, I get it. You make a mistake. You're human. Just realize that you don't have to be sorry for every little thing. And going back to the subject of the people who are really critical of people, don't be critical of people sometimes. Listen, sometimes people want to hear the right thing, and then sometimes people don't. And that's the thing I still struggle with myself a little bit, is that like I want to tell everybody what's wrong with them, but rather than calm down and just be like, listen, maybe sometimes people just don't want to hear what's wrong, all right? Maybe sometimes they just need to know that, hey, I get it. I made a mistake. You don't have to tell me I'm wrong, because I know what I did. And, you got to let loose sometimes. Sometimes you can't just, constantly be critical over people, because it could diminish how they think. Like, for me, I constantly say sorry now a lot because of a critical mindset that was kind of pushed at me. And so now I'm kind of breaking off of it, which I feel like is awesome. And I love the fact that, I can grow and people can tell me, can yell at me and say, stop saying sorry. So I think that's awesome. And it makes me happy. And I really appreciate the friends that I have. A good way to help negate that is, surround yourself with some people that really want to help you grow. And that's a good thing. Listen, that's a great thing, to just surround yourself with people. It's just like what I said with Wrath. Listen, surround yourself with loving people who really just want to help you grow. And that's a great thing to have, If you're doing the critical stuff, by the way, just ease up. Listen, just calm down and ease up. You don't have to be so critical towards people. A lot of people I can tell have a struggle with this, and sometimes I used to struggle with this. I don't think I do now, but I was scared that I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes trying to grow and become, trying to succeed in life. And the thing is that I even heard from a great song. I hear a lot of things from different places, and it kind of just puts in stuff for me. And it was a song called "I Can," and it's a great song. I think his name is Stephen Cooper. I might be wrong. Don't hurt me on this. His name is Stephen for sure. But it's a song called "I Can," and one part he says that I failed more times than I succeeded. And I was like, man, you don't be scared to fail. All right, listen, you're gonna probably fail more times than you succeed in life, and that's how it is. But here's the thing, when you succeed, it's great. It's great. It's an awesome feeling. The mistakes that helped him grow, by the way, the mistakes that he made so many times are what got him to succeed these times. You can't give up if you're making mistakes sometimes, because if you give up in that aspect, then you won't truly make that succession that you were meant to make. Another thing too is I'd like to say this is kind of like a flip-flop part here, is that, listen, there are over almost 8 billion people in the world. Your idea is not always the right idea. And I'm serious. Your idea is not always the right idea. You will make a mistake. Someone else out there probably has a better idea than you. And that's okay. You have to realize that. You will make mistakes, even as a leader. Listen, if you're a leader kind of person, you're gonna make mistakes. It's a given, all right? You're gonna make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The reason mistakes exist is to help you become a better person, or you to improve something that needed to be improved. There was a story of a Microsoft having like a security firewall breach, and there was a mistake clearly in their firewall. And so they got in touch with the hacker, and apparently they hired him. All right, I was like, that's crazy, dude. That's them improving on a mistake right there. Sometimes, maybe your firewall is messed up, all right? And you got to improve on it. Maybe you got to find a way to fix it, and that was a way to plug it in. You know what I mean? I don't know much about firewalls, but I can almost guarantee you if you take the loopholes out, you'll fix the mistakes. There's mistakes in like security all the time, I'm pretty sure. That's how hackers are able to get into things. Once you block those alternate routes, it makes it harder for you to make the mistake. And I think that's what someone needs to hear. I think somebody out there has made possibly a wrong friend, maybe dated the wrong person or something, and realized it. They're like, man, I made a mistake. But don't be held down by the mistake that you made the wrong friend or made the wrong boyfriend/girlfriend relationship that you're in. Because ultimately, when you make mistakes, they're there to make you grow. All right, maybe with the relationship you were in, maybe you just needed that mistake to happen so that it will improve you on maybe the real relationship that you're meant to have, and so that you're more prepared and more, we could say, armored to handle something way better, or to learn on something. When I had lost my relationship, I had learned that I need to be more prepared when it comes to being in a relationship and to ultimately improve on who I am. And I think that's what you need to do as well. When it comes to friends, listen, I get it. All right, I've made many mistakes on friends. I've had so many friends that I kind of really regret actually even being friends with. But ultimately, the reason I had those friends in my life was to show me, hey, listen, these are what kind of people probably exist in your life. And it's just to show you what people are like. I've had narcissists that were friends. I've had liars that were friends. I've had people who honestly only thought that joking around was the only way to live around and stuff. And it's fine to make jokes, but you can't just constantly just live off of goofing off and joking around and not wanting to improve who you are. And when you start to improve who you are, you'll realize that mistakes come out of nowhere, man. Like, I had great friends at some point. I thought we were great, awesome, super cool people. The moment I tried to better myself, it was almost like they treated me differently. And that's going to happen. You can't change that at all. But ultimately, just improve on who you are. Take that as a learning experience. Ways of solving your mistakes are kind of like this, and it's pretty simple, pretty easy. It's not that hard to solve your mistakes, because usually most people, I would assume, want to improve who they are. And the thing is that first way of solving your mistake is own up to it. Listen, accept the fact that you can make a mistake. A lot of people probably have pride problems, and they're like, oh, I can't make a mistake. I'll never admit that I made a mistake. And why not? The more you don't admit you're going to make a mistake, the more you're going to look bad in front of a lot of people. If people realize that you're aware that you're going to make a mistake, and you don't have a problem making mistakes, and you'll fix the mistake that you make, you'll be seen way more respectful than a guy who's like, oh, I don't have to admit I have to make a mistake. I'm going to fix this car like no tomorrow. And then the wheel pops off and rolls off the cliff, and it smacks like a dead deer or something. You know what I mean? Like, then everyone stares at you like, oh, this guy's a narcissistic piece of garbage. Well, not necessarily a narcissist would come from that, but very prideful. If you're a prideful person, you really have to lay down that pride and say, hey, listen, I can make mistakes. Someone needs to know that you can make mistakes. It's going to happen anyway. Just acknowledge the fact that you make mistakes. Own up to them. Be like, yeah, I made the mistake. Am I going to do better? You bet you better do better. That's the next part. Do better. Improve on the mistake. Don't sit there and make the same mistake over and over again, because guess what? It's going to keep happening over and over again until you fix it. That's just how it is. You know how many people smack rock bottom just to realize, oh yeah, I need to get my life together. That's pretty much the same thing. You're going to keep making the same mistake over and over again, just like smacking rock bottom, until you realize, hey, I need to change this, and we're going to go moving forward. This can actually be an aspect of change as well, as when you're changing who you are, you're going to make mistakes. You need to change on those mistakes, because if you're not going to change your mistakes, you're going to keep making the mistakes. The same thing over and over again, repeating the same cycle. Once you break the cycle of making the same mistakes and improving and fixing and learning from these mistakes, you tend to you better yourself and get to a higher place than you were before. And ultimately, it's another worth thing too, is you can even discover your true worth through this. And you're like, man, I fought my way through all these mistakes, and now I'm becoming a better person. Another way to solving your mistakes is stop saying sorry to every mistake you make. Realize you're a human. Listen, when you make a mistake, say, all right, I'm going to improve on this mistake, and I will definitely fix what I need to fix, which is, maybe, for example, I was very unprepared in certain situations. Better yourself and be like, all right, I won't make the mistake again. I'll be more prepared so I don't end up getting in a worse situation than I'm already in. I'd like to recap everything I've mentioned so far, but I want to say, listen, people make mistakes, all right? You probably made a wrong friend. You made the wrong choice in a relationship. You made the wrong choice walking down the street. I don't know. You can make a mistake almost anywhere, all right? Don't be too critical over people in your life. Don't treat them like they have to be you. And a lot of people who are critical think that they have to be you. People will make different mistakes than you will make, but it's good to learn from people's mistakes as well. A good way to learn, and I meant to put this in the recap part, before the recap part, but now I feel like I need to say this here, and that's a good way to learn from your mistakes. Learn from other people's mistakes. Other people make mistakes for reasons, Watch. Like, if you see someone else making a mistake that you could make in the future, learn from that to negate that mistake that you'll make in the future. You can learn from your friends. Listen, your friends can literally teach you things by how situations happen in their lives, and they make the mistake. Well, if you see it happen to them, why would you make the same mistake? So learn from other people. You don't have to learn from yourself on the aspect of mistakes. You can learn from other people. I felt like I needed to put that there too. It's weird. It's going to be in a different place, but this is kind of recap, so kind of recapping on mistakes. Stop saying sorry so much. Seriously. And I'm talking to myself legit here. Stop saying sorry so much. I'm talking to you, Derpy. Yeah. You always keep saying sorry so much, I'm going to keep drilling you. Stop saying sorry. But if someone else out there is saying sorry way too much, stop apologizing for yourself. Know that your words have power, especially your words over yourself. If you keep saying, I'm sorry, I'm the way I am, don't be sorry for the way you are. Because if you're sorry for the way you are, you downplay yourself and you make yourself lower than what you actually are. Bring yourself out more. Say, hey, listen, this is who I am, and I'm not sorry about being who I am. Now, don't be a scumbag. If you're a scumbag, you need to change who you are, but ultimately, you're a great person. All right, you're beautifully and wonderfully made. Don't be sorry for what you are. If you like something someone else doesn't like, then you know what? Forget them. It's you are you. All right. Remember that mistakes need to be taken as lessons. If you don't learn from the mistakes, you're going to keep repeating the cycle and making the same mistakes over and over again. Break through the cycle. Don't keep making the same mistakes. The reason you're probably smacking rock bottom so much and keep making the same mistake over and over again, the same bad things that keep happening to you over and over again, is probably because you keep making the same mistake and not learning from it. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're going to keep repeating your cycle. Break your cycle. When you start trying to succeed, you're going to make mistakes. And a lot of mistakes, if you learn from them, are how you get to succeeding. Remember, You can't get to success without having failures. You will fail more times than you succeed if you truly want to succeed. And that's okay. You'll learn from the mistakes. And I say the biggest thing from this that I want you all to take, and I'm saying this again, but break your cycle. Seriously. Break the cycle of making the same mistake over and over again. Doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of insanity. If you're doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result, you're not going to get it. You need to learn from your mistake and find out what's wrong with it and say, all right, listen, I did the wrong choice. All right, I need to better myself and not prevent myself from falling into this situation again. Go through and break your cycle of mistakes. I hope you all enjoyed my segment on whoops for mistakes. I know a lot of people make mistakes, and a lot of people struggle with making mistakes, and just remember, it's okay to make mistakes. And I noticed that a lot of people just making a lot of mistakes. A lot of the things I've seen so far, by the way, a lot of people are just making a bunch of mistakes, and you need to really push forward and move through. Learn from people's mistakes. And it felt fun to make, and I hope you like the name Whoops. I think that was hilarious for the name. My homie Dixie helped me look up for a title, and so we had like this thing where she gave me a random number, and I was like, all right, 12. And then Whoops didn't come up, but it looked close to Whoops, so I put Whoops as mistakes. And I thought that was really cool. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and please let me know if this helped you out. I really want to know, because this is the first time I literally thought of this on the spot with what whoops could be. And I would love to know if any feedback, if I've done anything wrong. Just any feedback is generally just blessed to me. I literally will take any feedback, if good or bad. I will improve on it and try to improve. Listen, the thing about making mistakes is, I might even have some mistakes in this video right here. And my action of wanting to improve and better it is asking for feedback back. It's just how it is. Mistakes can be anywhere. So I'm hoping that you all enjoyed this WhizDum Wednesday. I'd like to let you know that I have social media accounts as well if you'd like to follow me on there. I've got Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Twitch is where I live stream these majestic videos, and then I conversate about the subject after the video is over, just to have a great conversation, which I will now try to start uploading the VODs of the conversations that I have had after the streams, or after the video plays on stream, because there's some good conversations that I got out of it, especially last week's. Last week's was awesome, and I loved it. So please go check it out on Twitch, and if you want to see the VODs, they'll be posted on YouTube, and I'll have a link for them as well, depending on what you're listening on. But anyway, I hope this was able to make a whiz out of you making good decisions, and you were able to steam them up and make them even better. Until next time on WhizDum Wednesday, I'm Sir Derpy Creeper, and I'll see you around.